Hey guys, welcome back. It's Jack from CasinoIncomeAcademy.com. We are back with a Baccarat video. Haven't done a lot of public Baccarat videos because I'm going to be honest with you guys, I always am. Some of the things we've been doing in Baccarat have strictly been for premium courses and private tutoring sessions or one-on-one mentorship program. And that's why we're not, you're not seeing as much Baccarat over the last few months, because some of that stuff went right into Baccarat DNA Sequencer, the brand new course. So the course is getting rave reviews at the moment. And some of the things that are in that course, some of the conceptual stuff, not the strategies, but the concepts, we are going to be showing and bringing forth because they're concepts that are going to be moving through 2026 into roulette as well as craps. They're conceptual ideas from the business and rotational methodology. So we're going to be doing some videos on that stuff that we have to teach some of you guys. And then, of course, the courses flesh everything out way more than what I'm doing in a 20-minute video. Because we will be using the probability stacker concept from Baccarat DNA Sequencer. The probability stacker concept is going to be flowing through many of our nuanced ways of approaching the other games. All right, so today we are going to introduce something new that we did give to the people in the course. It's called Serenity Reset. And Serenity Reset is a fancy terminology for something we've done before, but it's kind of taken on a life of its own. And it is a little bit more aggressive than what we normally do. We don't do a lot of stuff like this. And in the Baccarat DNA Sequencer course, we have allowed ourselves to push the boundaries and open the door to showing you guys some things that are slightly more aggressive than what you usually see me do on YouTube. And there's a reason for that. Hold on, let me turn this off. And I thought I turned it off, but I guess I didn't. It's my Libre thing that shows my glucose level. All right, there we go. All right, so this is one of those. I'm not saying it's super aggressive. I'm saying it's more aggressive than what we normally do with the faction stuff. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a bet selection. It's nothing crazy. It's straightforward. You may have seen it somewhere else before. You may have not. It's easy for me to use and show you. But the reason I'm doing the video is more for the Serenity Reset. I've never used the Serenity Reset with this bet selection. So you're going to see it for the first time just like me. And again, we're on here on Wizard, so God only knows what will happen. So I'm not worried about the results. I'm worried about showing you what Serenity Reset is. So the way Serenity Reset works is we're going to be using the bead road. I mean, not Serenity Reset. The bet selection we're using uses the bead road. We haven't done a bead road concept, I don't think, in a while. Maybe I'm wrong. With all the videos I do for the courses and everything, sometimes I forget. So we're not using the main road, which means that if you're going to do this type of thing in the casino or on a stadium that may not have the bead road, you're just going to have to make rows of 6 just like this. That's all it is, and it goes from the top to the bottom. So with this bet selection, we are going to, you can do this a bunch of different ways. I'm just going to show you the basic story, and then you can tweak it the way you want. We will only be betting the top row, right? The top row. And this is a player-only concept so that you do not have to worry about the commissions. That's right. We don't have to worry about commissions. And that's one of the other reasons I picked this bet strategy, since we don't do a lot of player-only or banker-only things. So you can wait for a trigger, or you can jump right in. We're just going to jump right in because it doesn't matter for this moment. And we're going to be betting player only on the top row here. So we're going to bet player, and we're just going to use $10 bets. to make my life easier. There we go. All right, we lose. So we need to wait now because we only bet the top. So let's deal out 5 more. 1, 2, 3, 4. And let's just make sure my counting is not off. Like, oh, I was off. Look at that. See? I don't know what happened there. All right, so now we're back at the top, right? So again, we're only betting player at the top, right? And there are probability odds behind this strategy. I did not write it down. I made a mistake of what the odds are here. So maybe I'll stop the video and find that at the end, maybe if I remember. If not, it doesn't matter. Take my word for it. There is a probability base for this concept. All right, so now we're back at the top. We did not win yet in this shoe. So we do have to have some type of money management. So this is where I'm going to introduce Serenity Reset. Serenity Reset goes up 1 unit on a win or a loss. And then it resets based on whatever you want your profit target to be. We're going to do an instant reset when we make 1 unit, right? So we're going to go up 1 unit on a win or a loss until we make 1 unit. So that means we're going to be betting a unit more, which is 20, in total. Here we go. And we win, right? Where are we at? We're up 1 unit. So we would reset and we'd be back. We'd wait for this whole roll to go, and then we would go here. Now, I'm going to give you the caveat for this, okay? This system is really designed for online play because of what you're doing when you play this online or at a stadium where they have multiple shoes that you can play, which I like doing this there, or online. Even though I'm not I don't really play that much online. So, but the players that play online, this is kind of set for them where they can see 50 different tables at once. So what they do is they'll wait for the shoe to not have a player in the first row, right? And if they don't have a player in the first row by the second row being finished, then they're starting this. That's usually their trigger, okay? If they get a player in the first row, they're just going to look for a new shoe. Now, when you win and you do it that way, you're looking for 1 unit of profit in the shoe, and then you're moving to another shoe. Okay? But for us, we're not, well, actually, we can do that. We'll pretend like we're playing online, and we'll go to a new shoe. How's that? So we will play it as if we were online. All right, here we go. So here we go again. Now, we can try this one the other way and wait and hope that we don't get a player on the first shot and use that as a trigger. Okay, good. We did not get a player on the first shot, so we have to wait the next ones, right? Should be, I think, 1 more. Nope, 2 more. There's 1. Oh, that's a tie. Doesn't matter. And here we go. Okay. All right. So now there was no player at the top. This time we waited a full row, right? And here we go. Now we're going to make our first bet. We're only betting on the top row, nothing else. And we're back to our $10 base bet, and we're going to bet for a player. And we win instantly. So now we are up. What happened there? Did I not put the right amount? We won. Oh, I'm sorry. We switched shoes. Yeah, so we're up 2 units now. I don't know what the hell I was thinking. So we just made our 1 unit here. So we're up 2 units for the session, right? So now we're going to go, and I'm pretending, and again, can you do this for the whole shoe? I would say to you that I would not do more than 2 or 3 of these, Once you get a win, I'm saying, of course. I would not look for more than 2 or 3 wins inside of the same shoe. That's just me. Because this was meant to be the type of system where you're jumping around. Okay, so let's do another one. And again, you haven't really gotten to see the Serenity reset, which is really the reason I'm doing this. But again, the Serenity reset is a pedal to the metal, meaning that you're going up on a win or a loss until you get to whatever your reset is, your Serenity reset. And that reset for me on this video is just getting to 1 unit of profit. Now, there is another part of Serenity reset that is super important, and we'll talk about that even if we don't get to it. All right, so here we go. So let's do it again the same way. Let's see if we don't get, let's let the first row play out in the bead road. Okay, good. Again, it's a banker, so we can keep going. On this shoe, we can stay on this shoe. The odds are fantastic, by the way, guys. And I'll explain to you what I mean by that. This is a probability-based strategy for those people that bought Baccarat DNA sequencer. You know what I'm talking about. Okay. All right. So here we are in the top row again. And this is a new shoe. So we're starting at our base bet, which we decided was going to be 10. Only player. Okay, we won again. So that's 3 units, and we only went up once on the Serenity reset. So we'll do it again. We'll do it again. I think that was our 3rd unit of profit, something like that. Okay. But we'll force the issue. This time we'll stay on the same shoe just because I want to force a loss. We're not getting any losses yet. So, you know what we're going to do? This is how we're going to force it. We're not going to wait. This time we're going to do what we did on the first shoe. We're just going to jump out and bet player on the first one. Now watch, we're going to win on the first one. Nope, we didn't. Good. Okay. All right, so we've got to finish the row. Two more. One more. All right. All right, so we are going to get to do our Serenity. This is the Serenity deal. We do have to go up 1 unit. We lost, right? So we're going up a unit, and we're going to bet player for 20. And we win right away. Okay, so we're not getting to move up the ladder much, but that's good. No big deal, right? That's probably our 4th or 5th unit. I don't know. So what if we lost there? We would have to wait for this row to fill up. And based on our Serenity money management, we lost again. So we'd be going up, right? But remember, even if we win, if we're not 1 unit in profit, 1 unit higher than we were at, we have to go up on a win as well. Serenity has us go up plus 1 unit on a win or a loss until we get to the point where we're up the 1 unit, right? And then we do our reset. But here's the thing, guys. There's something else that you need to understand. What happens if we're getting into a long chain of wins and losses and we don't get to our plus 1 unit? And it calls for us to make an 8-unit bet, a 9-unit bet, a 10-unit bet, whatever it may be, and you're uncomfortable with that. What we do is we do a forced Serenity reset. We don't go back all the way to 1 unit. Let's say it's calling for us to do an 8-unit bet, and we pre-decide before we get going that that's the highest bet we're going to want to make is 8 units, right? So we make the 8-unit bet and we lose. Okay? We lose. We look at how much we're down, how much the next bet would be, which would be a 9-unit bet. And instead of making the 9-unit bet, we do a Serenity reduction bet. Reduction bet. To slow our roll, to not get into trouble, and take a deep breath. Because you know what we're all about. Bankroll, safety. Above everything else. So if we need to make a 9-unit bet, we have a choice. We can simply drop down and make a 6-unit bet, or we can slow our roll, which is what I do, and break it up even further. I'll go all the way down to a 3-unit bet, right? And start the climb back from the 3-unit side. You can even make it even slower and go back down to 2 and just work yourself back. That's a reduction bet. And that's what smart people do in the casino, as opposed to the 400 YouTubers that keep hitting their head against the wall, making bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger bets. Do you know how much easier it is to get yourself out of a little hole as opposed to losing your bankroll? If you hated playing and being in the casino, you wouldn't be doing this. But why is it that you're not willing to put in a little bit of extra time, that 20% or 15% of the time that you get yourself in a little trouble? Why is it that you need to get out of the trouble instantly on the next bet? I see so many YouTubers do videos where they have this ridiculous belief that the next bet always has to bring them back, put them in profit, or get back into their session high. The Roulette Bankrupt channel does that all the time. It's ridiculous. Oh, I'm just going to do one more bet because I want to build up my profit. And they're at like a multiple of 20 times their base bet, but they're just going to do one more bet. Are you kidding me? Really? Is there any common sense in that whatsoever? Do a reduction bet. Take 5 minutes longer, 15 minutes longer, and don't sweat. That's the way that smart people make money, quote unquote, back. They're not worried about getting to the next level of profit. They're worrying about riding the wave through the bad section. So that's what the Serenity money management does. So I hope you guys understand that. We'll do one more of these just because it's fun. And I kind of like this. This is, yes, there's a lot of time in between bets. Some people don't like that. If you're playing online or if you're playing Stadium, it's no big deal. But if you're sitting at a live table, yes, I understand that this specific bet strategy could be a pain in the ass. But again, for my Baccarat DNA sequencer people, this looks pretty interesting, right? This looks pretty interesting for a rotation. Got it? All right, here we go. So this time we will wait we'll wait for the first row. Okay, player did win the first time this time. So this time we would have been better off not waiting. So we are going to skip this shoe. And we are going to the next shoe. All right, here we go. So this time we'll just jump out right away. We'll just mix it up. So this time we will do player immediately, which you know what that means. It's going to be banker. Exactly. And now we just have to wait for this row. You knew that was happening, right, guys? Because I switched it up. All right, here we go. 3, we need 3 more. And by the way, there are a couple of other triggers you can use for this that are really good. All right, so here we go. So we lost here. We use our Serenity money management. We go up a unit, and we have to do a 2-unit bet on player. And there we go. All right. So we made our money back, right? and then we made the extra. And there we go, and there's another unit, and we'd be done for the day. I mean, that's probably, what, 5 or 6 units? I'm done here, right? Because if those were $100 units or $50 units, I'm pretty much done, all right? So that is the public introduction of the Serenity money management. It goes up on a win or a loss. You can change the win target. I always use 1 unit, a +1. I've seen people do this with a +2 with the Serenity, that we've given this to on our team that plays. They've done it with a +2. I'm not up for that in Baccarat. I like to get back to the base super fast. This is a crazy game. And if I get +1, I am running back to the base super fast. So there's another shoe. And again, make sure you understand what I mean about the Serenity, the reduction reset rule, the reduction reset. Determine ahead of time what your max bet is going to be. I used before the 8 units as my max. You can use 10 units as your max, whatever. But whenever you get there, that's when you're going to trigger the reduction bet. And it's going to be a portion of what the next bet would have called for. So if 9 was your next bet that was being called for, and 8 was your final bet that you wanted to make, well, you can do a 4-unit bet next, right? And know it's going to just take you a few shots to get back, right? You can do reduction bets. And once you learn the skill of doing the reduction bets, the +1 in the basic Serenity of going up on a win or a loss is no big deal. That's the secret, right? Some people go, Jack, I can't believe that you're doing something that goes up on a win or a loss by 1 unit. That's so much more aggressive than you normally do. You're right, it is, but it really isn't, because I'm only allowing myself to get into a certain degree of trouble that I predetermine before I start doing reduction bets to get out of it. All right? So I hope you guys like that. I said there was other triggers. So some people will use the trigger, and this is just going down the hole a little bit further. They'll use the first row. And if the player didn't show up here, right, that's the trigger to go to to bet the player on the next one. But sometimes they'll use another trigger. They will literally wait for there to be not just the first one here being a banker, but an imbalance on this first one. So we have the imbalance here, right? There's 4 bankers and 2 players. So I would have bet here. But what if this was a banker and there were there was 4 players, let's say, or whatever. There were more players here than bankers. They would not bet this one. So I've seen a few different triggers be used, and hint, hint, once again, that changes the system because the trigger is different. And our Baccarat DNA sequencer people know what that means, right? It means another brand new, completely different system just by changing that one thing. There you go. All right. So there you go, guys. That's our Baccarat video for the day. That's the public introduction for the Serenity money management. And we will see you on the next video. If you have not purchased Baccarat DNA Sequencer, go back and watch the video from last week, our introduction for Baccarat DNA Sequencer. It is our first major premium course of the year, and it is worth every penny. Every penny. And the next system, we're going to be following that. The next premium course, I should say, is going to be following that with probability stacker concepts in one of the other games. So we will see you on the next video. Oh, remember to sign up for the newsletter as fast as you can if you're not a newsletter subscriber on the website. There are things going on privately right now that we can't discuss on YouTube. opportunities beyond the courses, by the way, that I can't really discuss here that are only available privately to community members. So you're not going to hear a lot of details here on YouTube because we cannot go into them legally. There's no way I'm going to discuss them here. So you want to jump in there, you want to reach out to us, and we will speak to you real soon. Have a great day.